Welcome, Kitchen Sink family members. How are we? How are you? How have you been doing? Guys, how are you? Genuinely, please, let's share. Life is so hard sometimes. Don't be alone. We are family here. Thank you so much for coming by. If you're coming by for the first time, you're welcome. If you've been here before, you are most welcome. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for registering with us. We are growing, guys. We are growing. Let's keep sharing. Let's circulate these videos. Let's grow. And whoever you share with, please ask them to subscribe. It's for free, by the way. It's for free. Subscribing is for free. Let's do that so that we keep growing. Last time we discussed about change in the context of paradigm shift, transformation of one's mind by, one's life by the renewing of your mind. And following that, I said we want to do a Q&A. And here we are. Today we are doing that Q&A. And we want to discuss questions that came through after that video. If you have more questions, don't worry, keep them coming. We love to have a conversation. The first question, before I even go there, let me give you another scripture about change from Hebrews chapter 13. Verse 8, which says Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So Jesus doesn't change, He doesn't. In Shona it says, Vahebheru 13 ndima 8, Jesu Kristu unogara akadaro zuro nanhasi nekusingaperi. We human beings, we change. He does not change, but we change. And because we change, we are answering questions that have come following the video we did about change. And question number 1 is, how do I deal with fear of the unknown? This is a very almost natural fear, hey? It's almost natural to think that if I have to change, I don't have an answer of what will life be after I have changed. How will things be if I change? It's a genuine fear, and it must not be downplayed. So there will be that fear vis-a-vis issues of change, but that should not deter you from changing. Because if you live in the sphere of that fear, that can become an entrapment, and you will fail to proceed, you will fail to progress in life because you are afraid of things that you do not even know may happen. That is to be afraid of the unknown, is to not know what can happen in the future, which sometimes is very difficult. And sometimes it is better served by daring yourself and embracing change. Then you get to live the impact of that change. And who knows, it might be for the positive. And many a times, that's why change must happen in controlled environments. Don't just jump off a cliff because you watch movies and people jump off a cliff into water. A cliff does not always follow that there's water beneath it. There might be no water there. So it is important for you to do change, but in a controlled way, in a controlled manner. How do you do it? Go on a fact-finding mission about that particular change that you want to embark on. What are the positives? What are the negatives? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? What are the likely outcomes, with the change that you want to effect? And if you are able to get that information, it will govern how you go about with change in your life. And then whatever the change will be, the impact of it is also going to be managed in that way. So yes, fear of the unknown is real, but it cannot be a limiting factor for change in your life. I know people who are gripped with fear. They naturally do not want to drive. They get paralyzed on the steering wheel of a car. And it almost paralyzed somebody that I know. For years, they could not go past that fear. But they found ways of dealing with it. because they were always afraid. What if then when I drive I have an accident? What if then someone bumps into me? What if? There were so many what ifs. But once they overcame that fear, knowing that, but many other people are driving, they're not being hit every day. People are not hitting other people's cars every day. They were able to embark on their training, driver's license training. Today, they are very responsible driver on the road. And they do so with caution. Very important. But drive, she is. So you can't allow fear of the unknown to limit you and or to stop you even from progressing with life. Thank you. You can ask me further questions if I fail to answer you adequately. I hope I have answered this one adequately. The next question: how do you balance the need for stability and pressure, for change? I think this you have to apply wisdom, because there could be you want to be stable. Maybe it's career-wise, you're following a very stable career path, or you are at a stable job, but you are feeling the pressure to change. How do you manage those things? Similarly, you have to apply the same things, like I said about fear of change. You have to consider, why should you change? And if you are able to answer why you should change, what is there any advantage for me to change? Because if you are leaving stability to something that you do not know, you want to make sure that you have done sufficient homework about what it is that you want to embark on before you do. What are the disadvantages? Sometimes you are able to forecast disadvantages, sometimes you may not. But what are the dangers? Because sometimes if you, particularly regarding stability to do with work, you may have to save, adequately to cover yourself for the next 6 months, for the next year, before you embark on career path change. So that when you change, should things go south, at least financially, you have a financial buffer for a period of time while you get accustomed to the change, and while you get your grips to whatever the change is bringing you. So you can buffer yourself from the consequences of change, if it is change that you yourself are driving. But like this change where you're saying there is stability and I'm aiming for something that I may not be so sure about, you have to make sure that there is a buffer. They talk of, in life generally, having an emergency fund, which is different from this buffer that I'm talking about. This is not an emergency fund. This is funds that you raise towards a decision to change that you are making. You actually do so intentionally, so that when you now embark on this journey of change, you have a fallback on financially. You can also do so relationally. Where am I going to, who's going to give me support with the change that I'm embarking on? Family is always of importance. And if I'm going to do so with family, and how much are they available? How much of their time is this going to require? And when you do that, then you are able to jump into what is unknown, because you have provided this buffer for yourself. Question number 3. What do you do when change is rapid? I know, in my time, change was not so rapid. In my children's time, 30 years and below, I feel for you, because change is so rapid. Even rain seasons, they no longer start when they used to start. Clothes that used to see us in the let me tell you, in the Bible, in the book of Exodus, clothes that they were with in Egypt, they crossed the river Jordan 40 years later with the same clothes. Bible tells us they could even grow with people, those clothes. You can't do that now. You buy a new piece of item, you wear it once, you wash it. If you make a mistake of machine washing something that must be hand washed, you destroy it. Once upon a time, there were no machines. Everything was hand washed. and everything was preserved. But you are in the era of machines and things change rapidly. You must prepare for it. In fact, there's another question that says, how important is it for one to anticipate change and why? You have to anticipate for change because it will happen. It's just a matter of what aspect of change is it, but change will happen. So you have to anticipate change, you have to prepare for change. And mentally, if you are prepared for it, you will handle it better than when all the time when change happens, you are being hit like it's an attack. Then it will always be to the disadvantage. So please be aware that change is ubiquitous, change happens, and be ready for it. There's a saying about opportunity that opportunity dances with those that are on the dance floor. If you are on the dance floor of change anticipation, when it happens, it's not going to shock you. You were expecting it to happen. It's just a matter of, okay, how do I do it? How do I handle it now that it has happened? As opposed to, why change? And then if you can't change anything to reverse things, then eventually you say, okay, so now what do I do? You've wasted a lot of time and energy in trying to answer why the change has happened. And then there's a big one. How do I handle a spouse who has become a totally different person from the one I dated? This is so true. I wish I could be speaking to you in Shona, because in Shona we have a proverb that says, "Chinonyenga chinowarara, chinosimza msoro chawana." I do not know how to say it in English. But in Shona, what it means is a young man can come across as charming, gentleman, kind, in ways that you don't even know how to do it with that person. You can't falter them in any way or in anything. Everything about them is just spot on. They're dating. They're not married. Isn't it the intention of that period is to impress? So they're trying to impress you. So you have to wait for when they've taken off the jacket to impress, to see them for who they are. You can pick some of these things, but I believe that even myself, when I got married, I changed. I believe my husband changed when we got married, because we're now married. We're not dating. I'm not about to impress and to do things. So anticipate change because it will come. But if someone is now totally different, I would like to ask you back, did they not show you some of those things and you ignored them? Because red flags, you can pick even whilst you're dating. You can pick that this person is not genuine, even when you are dating. So open your eyes. Don't believe this, that love is blind. No, give your love eyes. Because love with eyes will see red flags. Love with eyes will see cheating tendencies. Love with eyes will see disrespect tendencies. Love with sight will see, I don't know, whatever else is negative. It is highly unlikely that a young man, a young woman will respect you in the period of dating only to be disrespectful later. They will attempt to be respectful. But if your eyes are open, you will see the tendencies towards disrespect. They will attempt to be kind while they are dating, but you can see the tendency for stinginess even during dating. So it's not so much that a person totally becomes different. Of course, they will take off all the effort that they have been putting while you were still dating, and then you will see them for who they are. Their stinginess, their disrespect, their sometimes even their foolishness, you'll begin to see in each other. So yes, it happens. People do change, but also know that in dating, the person that you are with, that you are dating, there is much more that you may not know yet about them. So does that warrant the need to live in with someone before you change? I don't know. I can't answer that. But all I can tell you is if you are dating someone, anticipate for change. and look out for those areas. You will see them. If you want to see them, you will see them. You would have, sometimes as they comment on other people's behavior, it will show you fundamentally their position regarding that particular type of behavior. It's your prerogative to be on the lookout. Don't go in blindly. Open your eyes, see the red flags for what they are, and if you have to proceed with information. Don't just dive in blindly. The last question. I am 16 years old. How often should I change friends? I like this. When you are young, you are allowed to keep changing friends, left, right, and center. That's the purpose of it. It's almost like dating, you know. There's a period when you are dating, you're allowed to change, isn't it? But once you are married, change becomes such a heavy thing to do, because then sometimes it's divorce and you don't want to go to those lengths. You want to have taken care of a sufficient business in your dating period such that you will not need to talk about divorce, you know, in your marriage. Similarly, in life, as you grow up, meet people, make friends, lose friends, there's a time for that. But there's a time for you amongst those that you are making as you are growing as a 16-year-old. Surely there will be some that will become life friends. There will be some. As you grow older, you'll meet new people, you'll make new friends, but you will find there will be those that are constant, all-weather type of friends. They are not many, but they are there. We talked about it when we talked about friendships. I only have 2 friends like that. You might have 3, you might have 4. But that doesn't mean they are the only friends that you ever have in life. You could have others. And as you change yourself, you change schools, you will have new friends at your new school. You change to go to university, high school friends, some of them will fall away, some of them will be with you for life, but you are bound to make new friends at university. When you finish university, you go to work, friends from university, friends from high school, you will make new friends on the marketplace. And life just goes on like that. So yes, you can change friends, but sometimes there will be those that are constant in your life. Those become lifelong friends, and you don't have to change them unless there's need to. So thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much for following us. Please, let's keep on commenting. Let's subscribe. Let's add more questions in the comment section, and let's be answering them together. And please like, share, and switch on the notification button. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for following me. Thank you so much. Be blessed.